Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was knowing that I didn't have any previous corporate experience, and I was coming fresh out of school, and I knew that I wanted to gain that in the right place, in a company that not only provided, projects and opportunities, but also provided those opportunities in a very constructive and supportive way. I picked up right away that this was going to be one of those companies, and that was going to be one of those departments that would provide that for me. So yeah, that was what led me to apply for the co-op role. You learn some aspects of your program in school, but then when you enter the work world, it's an entirely different experience. And I think that one of the biggest things I learned is probably prioritization, how to prioritize competing priorities in a work environment. And I felt like I was part of a team that taught me and guided me through that process of learning how to prioritize and how to go about that in a professional setting outside of school. And I came out of those 4 months having done my co-op term really feeling like I had developed a skill set that I was able to then apply down the road, especially in a permanent capacity. So it was really, really neat. It was a really fun experience. Well, I think the nice thing about a co-op at Reliable Controls is that you are able to kind of build your network and meet people during your co-op work term, and then it's just such a natural progression once you're done. And if you do transition into a permanent role, you already know everybody, you've already established those connections, you have made those friends, and I think that bringing that into a permanent role, it was just such a natural next step. And I think that, and I always tell this to co-ops when I interview them, that it's so nerve-wracking when you are taking those first steps in your career and you are coming out of school having never had any corporate experience. And I think when you're in that situation, the people that you work with and the mentorship that you have means everything, and it is so valuable, especially as you're kind of growing and getting your standing on your own 2 feet, so to speak, and having the support of the people I worked with and my team and my manager. It was just so helpful, and it made staying on in a permanent way really easy and simple. I would say probably one of the biggest skills that I learned in my co-op was how to prioritize competing tasks. And I know I said this before, but I think that's just such a big one that kind of keeps coming to mind. And I think that I was taught from my mentor how to do that, because you learn it in school, but it's very different in a work setting. And now 3 years down the road, I'm still taking what she taught me in my co-op work term and applying that to today. And I think that it's one of those things I'll probably keep applying in 25 years from now. So. I think the social events was something where it really stood out to me. Like, we've got such a great SoCo committee, and they organize so many fun events throughout the year. And when I started with my work term, I quickly realized, through those social events, how tight-knit everybody is, and how close everyone is. And I think that that really stood out to me and really kind of made me realize, okay, this is a company culture where this is really neat, and this is somewhere where I want to stay, and I want to learn, and I want to grow and progress, and yeah, it was just such a no-brainer to stay on afterwards. I would say just to take on as many learning opportunities as you can, sort of be a bit of a yes person, I guess, and because the more you try, the more you learn, and also the more you fail and make mistakes, the more you learn as well. So, and I think that's all part of the process. I think being part of a co-op program at your school is very valuable and very helpful, and will help you grow in so many ways, because it's a great way to test your knowledge in a safe setting. But specifically, the co-op program at Reliable Controls has just been fantastic. It's been, my experience with it has been incredible. I couldn't recommend it enough, honestly, especially this company.